So Sotek up 1-0. And we are into a matchup that I find always quite interesting lately when we see it in a tournament game. As we have Sotek with 3rd US versus DarkNeutron with 7th Panzer. The Vertigo is a relatively open map, and T-72s kind of need to get closer to really become dangerous against these heavy tanks, especially the M1A1A. So I find it a bit tougher here on Vertigo than on some other maps where you can get a bit closer easier. But with good smoke play, you still potentially can do it. Will be interesting. 7th Panzer for sure, pretty strong division at the moment, but so is 3rd US, and I would still put 3rd US a slight bit higher than the 7th Panzer. Like currently my tier list would be 5th Plane Day, 3rd US, 8th Infantry, 7th Panzer, and 79th, slightly behind that. But it is for sure powerful. It has a Spezialaufklärer, it has the insanely strong T-72s. On this map, the T-72M models with the slightly higher range, I would argue most likely a bit better than the normal T-72, which is pretty good stats-wise, but it has lower range, which can be somewhat problematic on this map sometimes. So there are for sure areas like around down here where you can use them quite nicely as well. Meanwhile, yeah, let's see what the start is here. LRS is coming around. We have Fireteam 84s, we have Engineers of Flash, we have some Apaches, and all of that lovely stuff coming around nicely. Over here, T-72M, T-72s, all of these really looking hot. Coops and Strellas rolling forward, MTLB, and okay, 3 different supply vehicles from the get-go. That's quite impressive as well. So, going to be interesting. A hell of a lot of AA. Yeah, that's the issue that you have against 3rd US as well. They obviously could just air rush you with 8 hands with a lot of Apaches. Not quite as many as Apaches anymore, as you don't get 2 rocket Apaches per card anymore, but still a good amount of them. So we already see 2 here from the get-go. And let's see how DarkNeutron will handle those, as most of the AA actually going northbound. It seems like DarkNeutron in general more focused onto the northern part of the map. You don't have any amazing fighters against these Apaches. SU-22 can deal decently here, but it's not completely insane. On the other side, though, we don't have any tanks on the side of Sotek. Sotek a bit more into the air stuff here. F-15, 2 Apaches, a Scout, and there the AA investment here of DarkNeutron might pay off. 2 Coops, 2 Strellas. That could actually potentially do quite a significant amount of damage. 2 CVs as well, so it will be a tick advantage for DarkNeutron here too at the beginning, which can be quite important on this map. As we have seen it a couple of times being a heavy stalemate in the late game, and nobody really getting any massive amount of units. As, yeah, DarkNeutron here with an interesting opener, and the 2 Apaches currently running a bit into the empty room, as the push will come north, and that should have a decent amount of support against any kind of air forces. M1A1 now coming in, but it will take a good while to arrive on the front line. Spezialaufklärer actually going really deep here. Motoraufklärer coming around as well, and that is not a massive defensive force here for Sotek. Will need to move his Apaches up. These ones actually going south. Yeah, is a bit confused. Where is the opponent? No real forces here for DarkNeutron rolling into the south at all. And that's going to be pretty interesting. Military police versus Spezialaufklärer. As Panzerjäger come around as well. Panzerjäger actually in this northern area, quite surprising. Only 500 meter range. Hit really hard in that 500 meter range area though. But yeah, they're not the best for these more open terrain areas, so I usually expect more in the town in the south, but I'm not sure. I'm in general not great at using them, but I have seen people like DarkNeutron using them quite a lot. As yeah, they're still having a decent amount of rifles, and MGGs at the moment is not super important, and obviously if they get close to any armored vehicles, they do a massive amount of damage. I'm just not that great at 500 meter range AT infantry in general, and hunting down enemies. But yeah, +5 here right now for DarkNeutron. CV for Sotek moving into the south. Will neutralize that eventually, but at the moment, good point advantage here for DarkNeutron, getting a couple of kills in the north. Apache's still in the air. But AA up north should keep them from engaging up here. And yeah, the south now has a fantastic amount of AA as well. 4 Strellas here actually. Not the most amazing vehicle, Strela 1, as they only have 4 Strellas, and the Strela is sadly a pretty abysmal ground-to-air missile, both in range, especially compared to all the other things that just got buffed, and in accuracy. As Spitzelfleur move forward here, Panzerjäger coming in there as well with the RPG-7 VR. One more coming in from the rear. Fire Team 84 and Scouts trying to hold the line. Will get some 84 shots off here against the T-72. Will not hit their mark with the first shot. Second shot does get some damage in, but they are running out of 84s, and T-72 will survive. Supply vehicles are in the rear. Apache is now trying to move around, as we have the first couple of Abrams coming around, and they outclass the T-72s by a good margin, so the T-72s will have to be careful. As the Panzerjägers here under fire as well, trying to clean out the infantry before the Abrams here can finish them off, I guess, so that the Abrams will be a bit blind, and that you can zone them out completely here with the Panzerjägers and the Spezialaufklärers combined with some T-72s. Apache here coming in, but the amount of AA should be really potent as the Apache comes in. Sadly, the game still was played when the FX of rockets and missiles was a bit bugged. As we have an Su-22 of 18 coming in. Oh, fuel explosion on one of the Abrams. Good kill there. Abrams number 2 not smoking off and actually getting killed there. F-15 obviously could come around, but if you look, yeah, double kill here. So Su-22 already paid off, killing an Abrams, killing off an Apache. Good killing spree there for DarkNeutron. Will lose the plane, but 2 cubes coming around for the Eagle. Can the Eagle survive this actually? 1 hit, and if the Strela now maybe finishes off with a lucky hit, no. Eagle will survive, but will be out of business for a long while. With the current repair times, that thing won't be here back anytime soon, so the next Su-22 might not have any opposition whatsoever, or Sotek will have to invest into another pretty expensive fighter here. So, still in the end, a fantastic trade for DarkNeutron. Up 365 points. Southern area, obviously, quite heavily in hands of his opponent, but he is even a bit on the jump here towards Charlie. And we have seen that a couple of times. It's not easy pushing this deep on this long map, getting that close to your enemy spawn, that far away from your own spawn, burning all that fuel and so on to get there. It's not an easy thing to do, but it can be done. And if you already have the advantage that it takes a bit of pressure away here, it will have to be Sotek who is going to push DarkNeutron eventually if Sotek wants to win this game. Has to catch up the points. Won't be easy, but yeah, let's see how this goes. M150s coming around, 50 cals moving up as well. The remaining M1A1 obviously really, really low. The T-72s up north have been repaired again, are in a pretty strong spot, but not quite having the support, I would guess, to fully push on. It seems like DarkNeutron rather considering trying to get into the southern zone, and that obviously could be a bit tricky. With the LRS, with the ITOs, with the military police there. The defensive setting here for Sotek, not terrible. Surprisingly, no tanks, no TOW2, so... But ITO already does a fantastic amount of damage against T-72s in the first place, as they don't have the most amazing armor. M150s though, getting picked off in the north. The Bradleys have to disengage. Bradley versus T-72, pretty effective weapon system as well. Their TOW2 missiles absolutely freaking fantastic against the T-72 if they can connect. But don't have the eyes anymore. M150s being picked off makes them pretty blind. Supply here coming in to repair up the M1A1, another one coming up. So the armor advantage slightly in favor of Sotek, I would say again. With a third M1A1, it will actually be quite heavily in favor of Sotek, even with a T-72 arriving on DarkNeutron's side there. But DarkNeutron is going to get busy in the south. And there, that push could work out. The ITO will be a problem. No artillery on either side here. ITO flying towards the BMP M1 will have to smoke off. Won't be easy to close in on that thing without a tech helicopter, without an airplane, without artillery. So let's see what DarkNeutron's plan is here. Potentially a bomber. If you get one of the cheap MiG-21 bombers, you could take that Ito out and then push the rest of the town relatively easily with armor. But at the moment it doesn't seem to be that way. As we have more and more T-72s instead. If we enough T-72s, if you smoke them off step by step, you can do it as well. I would love to see smoke mortars for the for DarkNeutron. I believe smoke is an essential asset here in this matchup, as if you get close enough, you can really do fantastic damage, can do overwhelming against the M1A1s and so on, overwhelm the TOW2s with your really cost-efficient tanks, but on the long range, the M1A1s outtrade you quite heavily due to your lack of frontal armor and your penetration of the gun only really stacking up when you get a bit closer. Yes, you do a bit of damage against the M1A1 even on the long range, but the difference is really massive. As you can see, there like 2 hit points. If the M1A1 would have hit, that would be like basically half-life at its range. Immediately, as we see some MGs dying, we see some Strelas dying. Kill list at the moment, kill feed relatively evens on both sides. As M1A1 moves forward, meet 2 helicopter under fire by the Chaparral while finding a new kill. Those AA weapons currently really fantastic. Spezialaufklärer being pushed back here as well. So DarkNeutron slowly but surely gets pushed back into the northern zone, which then maybe might allow Sotek to contest that and get a point. So DarkNeutron will have to contest the south eventually here as well. Infantry has pushed up quite heavily, has 4 tanks here versus no tanks on the other side, so if there is a time to push right now for DarkNeutron, I would say it's now here in the south. The numerical advantage that he has created here, due to his good trades in the north, is fantastic, but you have to use it. If you allow 3rd US to dig in for too long, that division is basically impossible to detrench and push out of their position. You always want to keep them busy. T-72s here, engaging against another M1A1, but yeah, they were able to see a 2 damage versus 5 damage there. That's not the traits you want with the T-72s. So it's a bit problematic here. T-72 over here on the drive, gets the half-life of the M1A1, goes down right after though. And the M1A1s will survive these shots and these traits, whilst the T-72 slowly but surely will be whittled down, and that's the massive problem. Because then the numerical advantage that you want to rely on with the T-72s will eventually fade, and then the M1A1 will just win the fight. So yeah, trigger pulled in the south now. Ito is firing, needs to be dealt with. T-72s should smoke off. Not smoking off right now. Eating an Ito here, not really what you want to do. That's a big amount of damage. 2 C-72s by now have died in the north. Panzerjäger went down as well. DarkNeutron being pushed back in the north, will have to retreat quite far. T-72s coming up. Ito should be focus point down here in the south, but that isn't at the moment. So the tanks here a bit in trouble. Smoke off at least, and the Ito by now finally starts running out of missiles. Doesn't have a resupply behind it. Apache here murdering a bit of infantry though. Strela's not really in a position just yet. Could move forward now. Ito out of ammo, but that's obviously DarkNeutron could have counted up and could know that, but obviously not something that you quite trust, that the enemy doesn't have supply there and so on. So it's still a bit tricky engaging the Ito. M1A1 meanwhile coming in, and only the Spezialaufklärer is here alive. DarkNeutron's push really not working as it should have, as in the meantime we see more and more units dying in the north. The kill feed currently completely red, so DarkNeutron really suffering here a bit after great early game successes, and that is a problem. You want to keep the pressure up as 7th Panzer. Once you lose your momentum, that division becomes a lot harder to win with. It's a lot about steamrolling. It's somewhat similar to 8th Infantry in their regard, but based on different kind of unit assets. M1A1 there, pretty heavily hit. We see some T-72Ms now rolling forward, Modschützen, BTRs coming in big numbers, but we have an Abrams now on the other side, and that one is rolling forward now. There's 3 T-72s, so Abrams will need to be somewhat careful, but it for sure could wreak some havoc here, as we see a couple of units in the north also starting to rotate around. Oh, BMP-1 actually seeing the T-72, the M1A1 already. T-72 engaging on its own, not what you want to have happen. Especially not on full range, especially not with the CV-1, as if that falls, that whole push here is kind of mute. Okay, gets a stun here, lucky hits. Stun on the Abrams means that this Abrams can't even smoke. Really fortunate there for DarkNeutron, as we see the north being captured by Sotek though. Sotek starting to tick up a bit. CV coming around now soon for DarkNeutron in the south. Another M1 coming around, 810 Thunderbolt. And this, guys, is a problem. 4 Strellas in the rear, Coop in the rear as well. So if the Strellas can get some hits here, and yeah, they can. 810 Thunderbolt together with the Coops from the north, absolutely annihilated. Killed 1 Strela, but that's a fantastic trade there for Sotek. Killing off a pretty obnoxious tool that otherwise could have murdered a lot of T-72s and so on. The 810 Thunderbolt still is fantastic in the offense, but with its changes to its ECM and with the current range of AA, it has become a lot harder to use cost efficiently if the enemy has any mid-game AA setup. And you really want to try to get it into space where the enemy doesn't have any AA around yet. As Abrams in the north, getting some recon units, T-72s, as I said, don't really want to engage on these ranges. Smoke would be now really something fantastic, but we didn't see DarkNeutron using any artillery last game, and it doesn't seem like he does plan to use any this game either, and that's, in my eyes, a big issue on this map. Using smoke efficiently with 7 Panzer against 3rd US, in my eyes, is the key to victory. If you then can get into engagements where you can one-shot with your T-72 the enemy M1A1s, with your plop, and then maybe trade 1 M1A1 versus 1 T-72, that's fantastic. Like, yes, losing a T-72 is not amazing, but hey, trading 1-to-1 is where you want to get, as you are infinitely more cost efficient. M1A1 costs 135 points, T-72M 135 points, so that's 100 point, oh, 240 actually, even. So that's 105 points difference there between these tanks. And the firepower of the T-72, really the big thing, but it only comes into effect when you get close enough. So if you do like half damage and 2 of your T-72s can one-shot these Abrams. That's what makes these T-72s so scary. +2 now for Sotek, slowly taking up on his opponent. Not enough resupply here for DarkNeutron at the moment. Has a supply truck in the midst of this, starts to repair stuff. But 2 Abrams around by now, Apache behind here as well. 3 Abrams in the north, all pretty low. Good amount of helicopters around as well. Trade still pretty equal at the moment. And Coop moving up towards the north. Bunker sitting behind this. SPW sitting around here as well. SPW needs to disengage. +2 for Sotek, keeps on taking M1A1. Rolling into the south as well. Yes. We see a good amount of tank fire versus the Ito, you know. Ito actually getting spotted. Still out of ammo, so that should go down in a second. Oh, loses line of sight there last second. Doesn't kill it, but no resupply still inside. Etchy here still has a bit of gun ammo. Ito being hunted. SPW still trying to get the hell out of there. Strela actually getting some decent hits there, but Apache with its high ECM doesn't get killed off directly. Strelas still have some missiles, so the Apache will need to be careful. Down to 1 hit point. Abrams goes down here. Doesn't quite one-shot the T-72. And yeah, that's the traits you want here, DarkNeutron. Like, that's fantastic. Even if you would have lost the T-72 there, wouldn't have been terrible. Losing the CV-1 obviously would have been rough, but yeah, it's a bit of position issue. You never want to have the CV tank that far forward. You want to have the other ones engaging first. BMP's here moving up now from the rear. And DarkNeutron getting himself into the southern zone. Abrams now engaging the Mudschützen. A bit of an issue. And if we didn't see any more Su-22 ATGM planes, yeah, which I found a bit surprising, as the Chaparral setup was lacking for quite a while. By now, we have a decent-ish amount. No, actually not really. It's only 2, which can be enough, but chances are it isn't. As Coops move around. EMPs coming up slowly as well. And yeah, DarkNeutron still with the tick advantage, but it's not fantastic. Also surprised to not see neither side using artillery so far, as this is really a map where I would say artillery has a big spot, as you have those 5-6 points where the enemy always will have to have units, and that also are frustrating to deal with a direct assault, like these buildings up here. If they have TOW2s in there, that's annoying to deal with. These ridge lines here, these spots over here. So having artillery to hit those is super amazing, especially as using recon to spot them also not this hard on this map, as you have straight line of sights and still decent enough cover to keep your recon units somewhat safe. So not using artillery, kind of surprised by it. Okay, as I say that, Sotek brings around the first M109 to prove me wrong. Ito shooting around here. T-72 in trouble. That's the final. This is actually a new Ito. The first one is still around. Yeah, we'll need some adjustments here from DarkNeutron. No recon infantry here at the moment around. One Schützen coming up in BMP-1s. We'll try to help out Strela, getting picked off one by one. The Ito really doing a fantastic job. Conquerors here trying to deal with the M1A1. Struggling a bit, not really upping the penetration, and seemingly also not having the accuracy, as the M109 does now fire into the southern sector. Artillery, maybe still a slight bit too weak. The tube artillery, when it comes to damage output, though has been improved a good bit over the last couple of patches again, and is, I would argue, relatively close to where it should be. Still could use some love though, as the AoE effect still maybe a bit too lackluster, even though it got buffed last patch. And yeah, this is a good fight for this town here now. This will be big. Artillery fire will be annoying. TR-813 though can help out repairing all this stuff. Strela coming around. The repair time also and repair cost also helped out making artillery more effective, because yeah, enemy will have to have supply, really more supply to repair damage against the damage to deal with your artillery, plus they might not be able to repair fully against the damage like they were often beforehand. Still not sure if repair time shouldn't even go up a slight bit higher, as even from where they are right now. Repair cost maybe a bit down, as that feels quite high at the moment. And yep, T-72 is here under fire. BMP-1 going down as well. And well, mortar coming in here now as well. Firing towards DarkNeutron, and DarkNeutron here a bit stuck. Not quite the mobile T-72 warfare that you want. And not having the support weaponry is really, in my eyes, the issue. Though he sets up a massive T-72 push in the north. But there's still 3 Abrams, and at one point, T-72 numbers versus Abrams is diminishing return, is yielding diminishing returns, especially if Bradleys with TOW2s come around as well. Where then you just run into that firepower and your T-72s just start melting. And this might be it in the north already when it comes to numbers. M1A1's pushing up. T-72s here still having great engagement ranges though. So the M1A1s need to be careful. But yeah, anything firing onto this area here could be really, really scary. Another M1A1 comes in the north, engineer moving up there. These tanks here kind of stranded. The dragons also being annoying. Strela's actually trying to come around. B-24D slowly moving up. Chaparral will be there though. And we still have a lot of kills. We still have the old death sound. I'm sorry for that, guys. Yeah, was still played on the old patch. As the M1A1s here will move around. T-72s now on the push. Let's see what they can achieve. But TOW2 doing a fantastic amount of damage. And apparently just not quite getting one-shotted. Strela's meanwhile over here dying. And trades lately really not going DarkNeutron's favor. It's not a massive disadvantage yet, but it is starting to become more and more numerous. As the SU-22 here gets a double cluster kill into the Abrams. So that was a fantastic hit. Another cluster SU-22 coming around. Chaparral not quite able to get the kill. This was big. This was really, really big. As this might allow DarkNeutron to push fully through here. F-15 together with Chaparral gets the kill on the SU-22. And the F-15 most likely will survive again. As I say that, no, I didn't cast across the F-15. CV does die in the north, so DarkNeutron would be able to capture that fully right now. Still contesting the south as an Abrams is pushing in super deep here, but that's too deep. Yeah, you don't want to go that fully all in with an Abrams. Both Abrams died in the south. T-72 on those ranges, fantastic against the Abrams. You really want to seek the longer range engagements there. Maybe let the artillery and stuff do the rest. But killed off the CV now. Or no, pushed the CV back with Fireteam 84s. Cluster killing off a supply helicopter, but not getting the Abrams. That was the valuable target there. DarkNeutron also should get his CV back in there in the north, capturing the zone now completely. But has a decent amount of T-72 still, which could push on forward. Needs to obviously repair the T-72 leader. Good damage on that one. Tow Cobra helping out against the T-72. Not moving forward, but the engineer flash is absolutely getting annihilated. T-72M though does die to the Tow Cobra and the Dragon engineers. Dinger now slowly getting finished off as well. Coop actually going down in the south as the Ito there doing a fantastic job from the rear. Ito here really trying to do their best on the long ranges. And we have a Thunderbolt coming in at the meantime. M1A1HA rolling in up as well, and that makes it a lot harder for the T-72s as they're, even on the short range, you often need 3 shots to actually kill it. Thunderbolt coming around, whilst it starts to one-shot your T-72s if you get too close. Mick will be on the hunt for the Thunderbolt. As the T-72 leaders both survived for now. Sotek still a slight bit behind DarkNeutron, 15 minutes remaining. Oh, but the Thunderbolt does find some kills. MiG-23s here now coming in. Low normal AA down in the south. MiG-23s get the kill though. Thunderbolt going down and second Thunderbolt dying. Good kill there for DarkNeutron. Both MiG-23s getting out alive, but one hit there from a Chaparral. Still in the meantime, M1A1s and M1A1HAs setting up for a push up in the north. Fireteam 84 here still really helpful. Could use some infantry against that. As Fireteam 84 in general, pretty cost efficient kind of small units there. And yeah, pushing them out there without infantry will not be easy. You need good recon and so on around that. A big push here once more with armored vehicles and all that is coming around with it. Itos though, doing a fantastic job, and I still don't quite get why DarkNeutron didn't try to use artillery or MiG-21 bombers for the ATGM positions. Ito actually not that cheap, so you can bomb and RT them relatively cost efficient. But we didn't see any of that. M1A1HA CV actually pushing in the north. Still a lot of T-72s around though, so that's actually quite the scary push, especially as the Panzerjäger is there so close as well. T-72 is engaging. Panzerjägers not moving forward, that's a mistake. Fireteam 84 here actually getting stunned. The T-72s run a bit low. Couple more fire support units there from the rear. Panzerjäger now slowly moving up. M1A1HA has to get the hell out. CP has to get out of there. As we have 4 Abrams in the north. Southern situation, only 1 Abrams, but the enemy is pushed quite far away. And Sotek with the contest gets the +2 and will get the point advantage of his opponent here in a second. As another HA comes in, and dealing with those will be kind of painful. Okay, DarkNeutron still with a slight point advantage. Should be a draw though when it comes to points. Which still would be enough for Sotek here in this matchup. Just means that he might need to get a bit better results against Tippy to win the full thing if he moves on here. DarkNeutron really needs a win to keep his chances on the title in general alive. Su-22 AT flying around. Gets a kill onto 1 Abrams again. AA pretty low here. Chaparral went down as well thanks to the Conquerors. MiG-23 trying to scan the area as well. But the northern push of Sotek looks quite potent. T-72's relatively heavily hurt. Couple got repaired. Mi-24P with the Cocon can be quite helpful as well. As the M1A1HA here keep engaging. ATGM went down here, but the 2 Itos, two Itos over there, still a massive problem. T-72 trying to come around. Infantry moving onto the battlefield as well. Without planes, this seems to be quite impossible in the north, but Su-22s are available. And they could change this once more. Cluster planes and ATGM planes absolutely could change the outcome of this. If you kill one of these M1A1 HAs, the rest could potentially still be overwhelmed, but it won't be an easy task. It won't be an easy task at all, and Sotek with the point advantage, with only 12 minutes remaining. So DarkNeutron will have to pull the trigger eventually. And 1A1HA here pushing forward, and as you can see, the damage that it deals onto the T-72Ms is fan-freaking-tastic. T-72 CV there, way too far forward. Once more, DarkNeutron super out of position with his most important vehicle. And that means that we have a +4 now. And even if the CV tank goes down for Sotek, this +4 will stay for a while, as bringing in CVs from the rear is a long, long way. And I really don't get why he was engaging at the moment where he had all of these weapon systems available. Cluster bombers here coming around. Will they actually fit the mark? Oh no. Both cluster runs completely off target. ATGM's also not really hitting. That was a bit of an anti-timing here in general of his opponent. That T-72 engagement, wrong range, not supported by the S-22 in the same time, and this really might cost DarkNeutron here the game. He didn't kill anything with these planes. Phantom, Eagles still flying around. Conqueror's not really finding a good connection either. And that is a massive, massive problem. We have a MiG-23 here in the rear. At least that will survive, but the T-72 engagement, quite rough. All the HA Abrams still alive, I believe. Yeah, both HA Abrams still alive, the CPA Abrams still alive, and that is a massive, massive problem. S-22 cluster went down in the end as well, so DarkNeutron in trouble. ATGMs here still flying out, still no solution for those guys. Mr. Pioneer flamethrowers will get under fire by the M1A1HA. M109's actually shot a surprisingly low amount of shots from the rear. Yeah, could be helpful over here. And yeah, red side not really having that much artillery. We see a good couple of mortars coming out now, but that's way too late. Only 10 minutes remaining, and the +4 for Sotek has ticked up so far by now that it will take a good while for DarkNeutron to change it around, and he doesn't have the time anymore. This will be a really tough race against the time, even if he gets back into the attack mode here. S-22 with cluster still could do some damage. He doesn't have reliable recon though, and he doesn't have the enemy pinned down in engagement either. Like, these S-22s coming in engagement where the M1A1s can't just run away from your T-72 easily, then they're fantastic, but here they just could drive away, smoke off. You don't have the recon to on the side to still pinpoint their position after they smoked off or went through the tree line, so a bit more of a guessing game with the S-22 cluster, and that's never how you want to rely on these cluster bombers nowadays. That one here should actually be a pretty good hit. Only gets the damaged M1A1 though, not the HA Abrams, and that means, yeah, decent take here for DarkNeutron, but still time is a problem. Time is a massive, massive problem for our player over here. Also, WARNO, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. I still don't know what the issue with my Streamlabs is, why we don't get the follow notification. Yeah, T-72M here going down. Yes, ooh, Rook coming in with the sub. Much appreciated as well. Leaving the Twitch Prime. That's lovely. Guys, if you have Twitch Primes, consider leaving them here. Giving me a bit of an Easter present would be much appreciated. And yeah, much hits in the south. DarkNeutron in trouble. This, you can't say that any other way. He doesn't really have the firepower. He will now smoke off, and he still has an okay amount of T-72s. 1, 2. It's really hard to see how many T-72s he has. Let's see it here. I believe it's 5. Yeah, it's 5 T-72s. Which, as I said, decent amount, not fantastic though. Loses the recon helicopters against the F-15s. Gets the F-15s, but MiG-23s can't really do much else afterwards. And yeah, not having the recon helicopters means that seeing the enemy there is down to the Spezialaufklärer, which do a good job, but not quite having all the angles that you want to have covered, most likely. More T-72Ms rolling in the north, but only 7.5 minutes and a 600-point difference. That means that really DarkNeutron kind of has to push through to one of the rear zones, and only thing the Sotek has to do here now is defending, and there is where the Apaches, for example, come in so handily. And M1A1HA also slowly can fall back and keep taxing you whenever T-72 is revealed. It can shoot it, can mess it up. That's going to be a massive problem here for DarkNeutron, who is using a lot of smoke now. But there's not many 84 infantry on the other side anymore, but he just doesn't have the lethal amount of tanks. He gets up with Panzerjäger infantry. That is a good option there as well for pushing through the smoke with, I guess. So the enemy can't just CQC your tanks immediately. But it's all a bit slow, it's all a bit far behind. He's still getting ticked with a +2. It's now nearly 700 points difference, and that is just such a big issue right now. CV in the south trying to sneak in, but the ITOs there still in fantastic spots. MiG-23 ML flying in here, up high. We'll try to get some kills. Let's see what they can do. Apache on the fire. Will go down. A8 trying to hit back. MiG-23 ML under quite a lot of fire. As the T-72s roll forward, but even the Bradleys on the side still can be dangerous. Apache kill here for sure, absolutely necessary. If you still want to win this game, you need to capture some points here in the rear, but I just don't see that happen. 5.5 minutes. MiG-21 rockets, okay, getting an ITO. I don't know why they only come in now. MiG-21 rockets flying around in the south. +2 for Sotek still going on. And yeah, let's see. Can DarkNeutron push through in the north? We'll try to do so, that's for sure. But it won't be easy. Tow Cobra getting engaged. T-72 slowly moving up. But there's so many M1A1s there. And yeah, so far no Abrams has died. 2 T-72s already down. And the Panzerjäger's not quite up there. They're coming closer now. And the Abrams should be careful of falling in too deeply there, as more and more Panzerjägers actually try to come up. But the smoke is pushed away, and with the ATGM plane coming around, not getting a hit off. Yeah, no, this is not going to be it. 4 minutes remaining. SU-22 going down, MiG-21 going down. Units just dying too rapidly, and it's an 800 point difference, and 800 points is not something that you just close within 4.5 minutes. +2 might be possible relatively soon if the CV makes it in himself again, but +2 is only 80 points per minute, so that wouldn't even get you quite halfway there. The cluster bomber here comes around, doesn't hit any of the Abrams either, or at least doesn't kill any. And the CV Abrams even might still be able to get back into the north, as the Panzerjägers and the T-72s now get picked off. Smoke has cleared up. Panzerjägers never got on top of the targets. And yeah, the timing here of DarkNeutron, decent, but just not quite good enough for beating someone like Sotek here with 3rd US. Sotek really playing a pretty good game there. Southern capture of this town done fantastically. His opponent never able to dislodge him there. ITO goes down, but that's fine, as the Abrams has replaced it by now. And the M109 now firing onto this northern section as well. As we have a 50-50 situation, M1A1 hitting in the south, Motschützen will start to be taken off. And yeah, Sotek will play against Hippie, most likely, for the title of the March monthly champion. As DarkNeutron here trying to come in with helo spam now. Actually, won't do too badly most likely, but it's just way too late. It's just way too late. MiG-21 rocket coming around here, taking out a fire team 84. Good kill there. T-72 in the meantime does get messed up in the south. And yeah, this was a fantastic game by Sotek. Really fantastic game by Sotek here. And together with a good game number 1, really allows him here to play for the final and for the championship here in the March monthly. And in April will be a pretty busy month, guys, as we not only gonna have the April monthly, which you still can sign up for if you want to have some normal, chilled, competitive play, but we also, for all the new players, have the rookie tournament going on, where I will be involved as well, not as a player, obviously, but as a coach. I will have 4 of the rookies out of the 32 rookies under my wing, and we'll try to help them beating all the other 7 coaches' teams. Lathans will be one, Phoenix will be one, Team in Place has a team, DarkNeutron, who is playing here, and Sotek both have a team as well, I believe. Or at least DarkNeutron has, I'm not 100% sure, but Pure Tanner has a team, a Wooden Box has a team. So a lot of your content creators, a lot of your WARNO content creators out there have a team, for example, and yeah, I will have my 4 rookies, and I'm pretty certain they will win this thing. I'm not quite sure who of them will win. The goal is to win the finals, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to casting their games, helping them out, improving their playstyle, having fun with the game, obviously, and seeing who will win that whole rookie tournament in the end. MiG-23ML trying to fly back. And yeah, +2 for Sotek here, even in the last minute. M1A1 HA trying to move forward. Phantom coming in for a good run. Not quite getting a kill. Oh no, actually got the kill on the Mi-24D there. Gets killed off the way out though. So yeah, DarkNeutron KD wise, I don't believe it will be too bad, as the Mi-24D is actually pushed quite deeply here in the end. Chaparrals and Stingers though helping out, making the KD a bit better once more for Sotek in the end. That Mi-24D is not looking hot. Yeah, that one's down as well. So in the end, I guess it will be still an advantage there for Sotek as well. But DarkNeutron back to a +2, but it's not good enough in the end. And oh yeah, super close KD, but well played by Sotek position-wise. The southern zone just on lockdown, and DarkNeutron approaching that. Like, I would argue that he never got a foothold in the southern zone was the major issue here in this whole game. Yes, his northern play was pretty good. Could have played a bit better there with Smoke as well in those late game engagements, but even there didn't do too terribly. It's just that the tick, due to the southern zone being so long in Sotek's hand, caught him and got Sotek the W. And 1A1 HA here, doing pretty decently for himself. But on the other side, like, there's a good couple of great T-72 kills here, as you can see. SU-22, that was the only one that killed the Abrams and the Apache, doing a fantastic job there as well. So yeah, well played by both players, but in the end, position-wise, a bit better game by Sotek. Maybe also had the slightly better side of the map, but in general, just a really good games. And I'm really looking forward to the finals. I sadly won't be able to cast it live, but I will catch it next week and cover it there with Hippie versus Sotek being the 2 people who still have a chance on the championship, and Sotek's actually being undefeated and without a map loss in this tournament so far. So Hippie will have to stretch himself, as if it's a draw, Sotek will win the tournament. Hippie needs to win the tournament, as he's the only one with 3.5 points. So if he wins, nobody else can catch up to him. But if it's a draw, Sotek will have 4.5 points, which nobody else can reach either. Hippie will only have 4.0 points though, which DarkNeutron, Lathans, and the Wooden Box all still can reach. So yeah, that will be nice. And I'm not feeling Steel Division 2 cast right now. I only have like 1 hour left to stream, and that means I will just play some Steel Division now, some WARNO now. We will go into a short break, and then we will go into some WARNO.